On Hulu, I watched, and hell, it might even have been brought down since then, because it said it was expiring, vaguely defined expiring on Hulu, Thelma and Louise from 1991. Yes, that was a particularly good year in movies, as you know. Thelma and Louise, if you're not too familiar with this movie, this might be one of the most surprising movies you ever see. You're probably thinking, oh, some kind of, what is it? Fried green tomatoes, a little bit of a heartstrings pull, chick flick, maybe a bit of a rom-com element. On Hulu, they have it miscategorized as comedy. This is a drama. So, Thelma, played by Geena Davis, and Louise, played by that liberal bitch that was going to leave the country. I forgot her name. God damn it. Anyways, you know she looks like everybody's grandma. So anyways, 1991, directed by Ridley Scott. It has that high contrast lighting that we know and love from his movies. Very slick looking movie. They don't make them like this anymore, thanks to digital intermediate screwing up the look of film. So these gals, Thelma, she's married to Shooter McGavin, and this is before he gets good at golf. And he may not be abusive physically, but he is verbally in the least, okay? So he's keeping her down. She married him young, and she might have made a mistake there. She does want to leave him. Well, she has this weekend getaway planned with her main gal, Louise, who works at a diner. She's borrowing this cabin from the manager that he's going to lose in a divorce, so he's just letting people borrow it. And they set out on the road in I think a 60s Thunderbird. Quite a long looking two-door convertible here. You know, not terrible. But they hit the road, and Thelma's like, hey, why don't we stop at this bar, have some drinks, come on, it's vacation, I don't get out much. She's out behind her Shooter McGavin's back anyways. Well, they head over there, they do some line dancing, they drink. There's this guy that's coming on to Thelma a bit, and they were dancing pretty close all night. But then he attempts to rape her in the parking lot, and Louise jumps in with a gun. This is Thelma's gun. And she's like, all right, get away from her. And then this guy shoots his mouth off, and she shoots him. You know, you shoot your mouth off, you get shot. Shoots him dead. And then like, okay, we gotta go, we gotta get out of here. We gotta think about what we gotta do here. And they're like, okay, it's not that bad. The guy was going to rape you, well, he didn't, and we got away. I mean, they point out a lot of the logical stuff here. Meanwhile, there's a detective looking into this, Harvey Keitel. And Harvey Keitel's around. He's really quite an upbeat detective for this kind of stuff. I mean, he seems to be talking to this waitress that was sort of a witness, as though they're friends and all. And he treats everybody pretty fair. So this is not an all men are evil movie. Not in the least. So, the gals have this plan to go to Mexico, but they're not going to go straight to Mexico. I don't really remember where this originates. I mean, if I had to guess, I'd say something like Alabama or Georgia. But they cut to the west. And, well, they're on the road. They got this plan, they need to pick up some money. They're going to have this guy, Michael Madsen, who's dating Louise, pick up, or just, she's got some money in an account, she's going to borrow some cash from him in the meantime. Wants him to wire it to her. But he comes in and meets them. They also meet up with this guy on the road, JD, played by Brad Pitt. This is the star-making role for Brad Pitt. This is the movie where the girls saw Brad Pitt and they're like, I want it now. Here's my money. So, Brad Pitt's just this kind of drifter. He says he's in college. He wants a ride from him. They were kind of reluctant to give him a ride. But they find him later down on the road and they pick him up. There's a cute little scene here where Thelma's like, doesn't say anything to convince Louise to pick him up. She just kind of goes, ah, ah, like that. Okay, we'll pick him up. So she gives the puppy dog eyes there. But, so Michael Madsen, he's proposing to Louise, wants her to marry him, and she's like, you know, I'll think about it. He's like, well, you hold on this ring. Meanwhile, Geena Davis is hooking up with Brad Pitt. And I guess in this scene here, she's like, oh, what? I get to have a sex scene with this guy? I don't want to have a body double. So she was in some very decent shape here, Geena Davis. But Brad Pitt, he's really lean here. He's really got the abs going for him. This is Brad Pitt Fight Club adds 0.5 right here. But he gives this talk about how he's like a bank robber, or he robs places anyways. He comes in, has a gun, says, nobody lose their head, nobody loses their head. This is a little bit. He kind of does the speech while holding a hairdryer. It's cute. But anyways, they hook up. Everybody's hooking up, right? Well, the Harvey Keitel and them's figuring out who was at this bar, what was going on. Guns are matching up. He manages to get in touch with the gals. Thelma calls home. She's like, well, I want to talk to my husband. Well, if he seems too nice or something to hear from you, that means the cops are there. Oh, hi, Thelma. He knows. Click. But then Louise calls back and says, I want to talk to the cops. What? There's no cops here. Just put the cops. Okay, here they are. So she talks to the police. And I gotta remember to stay away from people here. He's like, look, right now we just want to bring you in for questioning, that's all. But you're not going to make it to Mexico. Wait, how do they know they're going to Mexico? Geena told JD. Oh, and JD stole all their money. So now they're going to have to make up for this. Thelma robs a convenience store. And actually JD gets caught somehow. He gets brought to the police, like, hey, you have this much money. You know, it's really weird that these gals had that much money stolen from them. That's kind of odd how that matches up. You know, now you just took away a chance from them. Now they're armed, dangerous robbers on the road, wanted for murder. They had a chance and you blew it because you took that money. So now the feds are all over them. There's quite a chase coming about. Well, on the road, they encounter this truck. Driver's name's Earl. He's a chauvinistic pig because he's got the like chick in recline silhouette you see on the mud flaps. And they see that, they're like, oh, what a pig. You know, I like the way they shot this. You can see that Louise is driving the damn car. I mean, you can see that they're looking at an actual car here. Would they even bother today? Nope, CGI. Green screen. Let's just do the laziest thing we can. That's filmmaking today. So, and oddly enough, they encounter this guy too many times. I mean, you're going down the road, you don't keep seeing the same people several days in a row. So that is kind of a strike against this movie. Just the coincidence factor. But, they managed to have, I think they came across a cop who pulled him over, locked him in his trunk, took his gun. And anyways, Earl comes across them again, and they pull over to act like they're going to hook up with him, but it's a lie. So they pull over in the middle of the desert, point guns at him and stuff, and they blow up his semi-truck. And it's quite an awesome explosion. The 1991 year of car explosions, really. So now the cops are on to Thelma and Louise. And this is where they have quite a turning point. There's a helicopter involved. They're headed to the Grand Canyon. And they're like, okay, what are we going to do if this goes bad? Well, you know, we can't just let them take us, you know. We're in it for the long haul here, right? So they say. Well, there's a good car chase. Keep an eye on the high-speed photography as their car goes by and hits the rearview mirror on the side of this police car off, and it just kind of floats blissfully in the air in slow motion with the high-speed photography. Looks nice and shit. I mean, they're doing a pretty good job evading them until really the helicopter comes into play. They get surrounded, they're at the edge of the Grand Canyon, and Harvey Keitel's like, now come on, it doesn't have to be this way, you know? And they're like, now we got the guns drawn on, and we're scaring them and stuff. They drive off the Grand Canyon. I think the shot of this is on the poster, so a lot of you know it's coming. But keep in mind how this goes down. The movie cuts away before they come close to crashing. There's no, did they make it? Did they survive? We know they're going to die, but the movie kind of fades into some flashbacks showing the good times together, their adventure. They want to just have a quiet little weekend, and then with each little step, it became more and more of an adventure. So we have them go out on a happy note, despite the suicide. But hey, that's Thelma and Louise for you. Is it a comedy? No. There's some funny moments that bring levity to the drama. It's a very well-made, well-produced, well-directed, well-photographed movie. Listen to the score, Hans Zimmer. I mean, even if you're not into chick flicks, this might be the closest chick flick you can get into. Highly recommend Thelma and Louise. 3.5 out of 4 stars.